What's going on, everybody? It's Brett Pro Angel here, bringing to you another deck profile for Mekk Knight Orcust. This deck is very good. Today we're gonna be using these two cards to combo off. Very good. And so I think we're gonna start with, we'll just summon Girsu. Activate Girsu's effect. Of course, the broken part, we're going to send Wand because we're ultimately going to be pushing for our lib. Then we're going to activate Girsu's effect to give our opponent a token and us a token in the same column. And then we're going to link off our token to clear up space. Then we summon Link Karibo, clearing space for our Mekk Knight Purple. And then we summon Mekk Knight Purple, activate effect. And this is going to give us a search. And we can take our blue from the deck, and we're going to go ahead and summon the blue. Blue is going to take, we'll just go ahead and take a Girsu. Why not? We'll have it for next turn, or if we end up having a return, orchestrated return, we will have a discard, or if we end up with brass in the grave. But from here, we'll just go ahead and link off blue and Link Karibo, and we're going to go into lib. Activate lib's effect, and that's going to allow us to set our succession from deck. Succession is just an extra extender, just gives us more viability, more plays. We'll go ahead and flip succession. Succession is going to fetch us our blue from the grave, allowing us another extender to link off. From here, we're just going to simply link off into IP. So honestly, this is just a simple play. We don't really need to do too much here because we're set up for, next turn. The opponent goes, we can go into Crusadia. Depending on what they play, we could go into Unicorn, pitching a good card from our hand, or we could go into Zeroboros, or we also have Appaloosa as an option, which I probably wouldn't do right here, but we also have Access Code Talker. So, these are some really good cards, not to mention that Lib will get her shuffle effect as well. So yeah, there goes our first combo. For our next combo, we're going to be using Scrap Recycler, because I'm going to show you the Scrap engine. So we're just going to go ahead and normal summon Scrap Recycler. Use Scrap Recycler to fetch our Jet Synchron. Pitch Jet Synchron, and then you want to have a good card in your hand to use Jet. Hopefully you have like a Nightmare. This is best case scenario, so we'll say we have Nightmare in our hand. Pitch Nightmare to bring out Jet Synchron. Then from here we can go ahead and link off our Jet and our Scrap Recycler for our Wyvern, Scrap Wyvern, and then we're going to activate Wyvern's effect, and that's going to summon our Recycler from the graveyard, but then we have to pop a card, missing Recycler's effect timing, because we have to pop Recycler to finish resolving Wyvern, and then we're going to summon Golem from our deck. Wherever it is. Alright, so here goes Golem, and then Scrap has to pop itself, or Golem, but we're going to use Golem's effect to get our Recycler, getting another fetch for Recycler. So we have our Nightmare in the graveyard. And this time, I think I would go ahead and pitch Wand, because we're ultimately going to want to go into the lib. So I'm going to link these off for Miss Libby. Lib is just a very good card here. So we're going to use Lib's effect to get our succession. And then from here, we can go ahead and activate our succession to go ahead and get Scrap Golem again. because it's not a hard once per turn, we can go ahead and activate its effect to get our Scrap Recycler. And then we activate our Scrap Recycler again. And then I just go ahead and put them in defense mode just in case there's any interruptions. And we're gonna fetch our Girsu with Scrap Recycler because we have Nightmare in our graveyard. And we're gonna go ahead and activate our Nightmare, which is gonna fetch us our Symbol Skeleton. And then we're gonna use our Skeleton's effect to bring out Girsu. It's just very recurring. And then we get Girsu's effect. In this case, I'd probably just go ahead and send. Probably best to send Gizmek, because I'm probably not going to use it this turn, but it's good to have in my graveyard for an extra extender. And then I'll probably just go ahead and think it's time to link these guys off to go into the Galatea. Then Galatea's effect. Probably shuffle back Symbol Skeleton, since I'm gonna get a Babble, and I'll have Nightmare in the graveyard as well, so it's like I can just go ahead and get Skeleton on my opponent's turn if I really needed to. So set Babble, and then I activate Babble. So that's gonna make all my Orcust monsters quick plays. And then I'm gonna go ahead and link off the Galatea for Girsu. Activate Girsu to fetch the banished Nightmare so we can get it in our graveyard. And then from here, I'll probably just go ahead and link off the Girsu and Scrap Recycler, because we can get it back with Symbol Skeleton, the Girsu. So from here, I'd probably just go into IP, because, maybe. Yeah, we'll go into IP. So IP, because then we can play on our opponent's turn with IP, also with Babble, and we'll get Lib's effect, and then our graveyard is just stacked. We have Gizmek, we got a Wand, we got Nightmare, we got Galatea, Girsu. So it's just pretty ridiculous the amount of plays that we could do. So on our opponent's turn, we could easily use Nightmare to get Symbol Skeleton, and then we could use Symbol Skeleton to get Girsu if I need to interrupt them from doing anything crazy. Or I could go and get the Galatea. I could use IP's effect to go into a number of monsters, and here I could be set up for Unicorn if I need to send, or Avermax. Or, more importantly, in this stage of the game, I could go into Zero Boros because my graveyard is ultimately stacked. So right here would be very good if they start creating a board, Zero Boros, and then I go into Gizmek, and I summon Gizmek in one of Zero Boros' columns to just remove everything. It just clears the board. So I think this is just a very, very good setup. I would feel very confident playing with this kind of hand. Granted, you only need a couple cards to do some insane combos. This deck is just really, really good, and I think it just has potential to go forward. So now for the third combo. For our third combo, we're going to use Jet Synchron and Orcust Nightmare, and maybe another Orcust monster in hand. So we'll go summon Jet. This is going to be a Halqifibrax play. We're going to go into Link Karibo, use Jet's effect to pitch Nightmare, and we're going to link off into the Halqifibrax, and then we're going to just, like, Girsu. We'll just say Girsu's our other extender in hand, because we're going to go ahead and fetch the Brass with Halqifibrax, because if we have Girsu in hand, this just makes us very, very good hand. So from here, I think I would go ahead and just activate Nightmare. Nightmare pitching, I'd probably say Wand. And then we'll go ahead and activate Wand to get back our Nightmare. Then we'll link off with the Brass for the Galatea. And then from here we can activate Galatea's effect, shuffle back wand, and then we can get our Babble. I always search for Babble because Babble is just a very good card. Lets me play on my opponent's turn. I don't know. That's usually my first search target. If I think I'm gonna end up with an IP and Galatea on the board, I might search Crescendo, but more times than not, it's probably gonna be Babble. Return is probably it's a good option, but it's not 100% necessary. And then we'll just go ahead and activate the Brass from the graveyard and summon our Girsu from hand, activating Girsu's effect. From here, we could probably just go ahead and pitch Skeleton, Symbol to bring out Nightmare, overlay Galatea for Girsu to get Symbol attached to the Girsu. And then from here, I would go ahead and overlay with probably Nightmare, so I can get Nightmare in the graveyard with Babble. And from here, we'd probably just go into IP. And that way we can play on our opponent's turn and we are completely stacked. Our graveyard's pretty good. So we could do a number of things here. We could use Skeleton to get Girsu. We could do Skeleton to get Galatea using Galatea's effect. Or we could go Nightmare to send Wand, pumping up Girsu. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things we could do. We could activate IP's effect. We could go into a number of plays here. So, yeah, I really hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching this combo tutorial, and Brett Pro Angel out.